Hey, what's up? It's Phoenix, and I am super stoked because I am on vacation. And so it's definitely been a difficult past couple years with work, with making things, with the pandemic. And there's definitely been a lot going on, but I am definitely enjoying this time here in Texas, spending time with family, people I care about very much. And so that has been very nice. I wanted to talk a little bit today about some of my thoughts on escape versus what you could call struggle or even just effort. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because I have been thinking about escape or escapism, however you want to refer to the term of allowing yourself to avoid rigid thought patterns, allowing yourself to enjoy things, allowing yourself to be more open and free spirited. And I think in our society, especially lately with the difficult things we've been facing all across the world, such as the pandemic, but also some of the natural disasters, it's very hard to imagine sometimes that life can be enjoyable. And so I myself describe myself as being very lucky to be here and to be able to enjoy life. And I definitely wanted to emphasize that I'm very glad that I have that ability. And so, but life can still be tough. And so when I think about the toughness in which I experience in my own day to day life, I think about how sometimes I do need escapism. You know, in my philosophical thinking, it's often very rigorous. I'm constantly critiquing myself and expecting myself to do more things, making it more rigid and fixed. And yet, I think that there should be a balance. I think that there should be fluidity in a lot of what we experience and what we allow ourselves to experience. And I think the reason is because the more open we are to experience, the more that we are able to experience life on its own terms and not making it something that we think that it needs to be. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I very much like and have enjoyed lately escapism. There is a lot of intellectual rigor to some of the things that I do, even in terms of my writing, as an example. If you've been following the channel and my writing, then you definitely know this, that I definitely put a lot into it. But I would say that I am opening up myself and allowing myself to escape. And so, one way in which I do that is literally escaping my state by going to another state in America, and that is a form of escapism because I'm allowing myself to flee, so to speak. I'm allowing myself to have new experiences and to enjoy things. But I would say, I'm also reading the Wheel of Time series, and part of the reason why I started reading it was because it was fantasy, and not only fantasy, but epic fantasy. But there is also escapism there because the book is very fast paced, at least so far. The books are, and I've definitely enjoyed the characters, and even though there are a lot of intense things going on and intellectual things that I'm paying attention to, it's also just very enjoyable. And I want to allow myself to do that more often in life, to be able to enjoy myself and not get so carried away with things that I think that I need to be doing all the time. Work is definitely very important, but you also have to have that escape. I know that some people are critical of notions of escapism because we do live in a very rigid culture where often a lot of it is not really focused on creativity. It's not focused on happiness in terms of joy, specifically not happiness in terms of maybe a more shallow notion of pleasure or immediate gratification. But regardless, I do think that it is important that we allow ourselves to experience those emotions. I think that we need those emotions and we need those experiences. And even just today, I got to enjoy a banana cream shake and banana cream pie shake. And it seems a little bit silly, but it is incredibly important to allow ourselves to do those things and to spend time with people and to do things that we enjoy. I think that life is short, and I think whenever we make our lives too rigid and don't allow more open experiences and allow ourselves to be more free spirited, I think we definitely miss out on a lot of good opportunities. And I think that it makes things difficult for our lives. And so, whether that is through reading fantasy books or going out for ice cream or a milkshake, or even just going for a walk around the park, these are things that we need to allow ourselves. I have had to learn through time to allow myself to have that escapism, because I often am putting a lot of rigor into what I'm doing, into my process and method and way of existing. But I also want to be free spirited, and I want to allow myself to roam. This definitely makes me very excited because I have been thinking a lot in the realm of science fiction and fantasy. And so, in terms of thinking of Arthur C. Clarke as an example, he had said that we may have a lot of technical abilities with the things that we do. And that's kind of what I'm talking about with maybe more rigor or intensity. But it also just takes imagination. And I want to allow myself to be more free spirited and allow my imagination to roam. It's so easy to have like a very strict mindset and to lose track of that. But I definitely don't want to do that. And so that's why I've been focusing more and more on imagination. And even the book that I'm writing right now, I'm writing because it's fun and because I'm allowing myself to go in unexpected directions and because I like that. There's a great metaphor with Deleuze, Gilles Deleuze, the philosopher of the rhizome, which is the idea of roots that extend in multiple directions with multiple interpretations and multiple ways of looking at it. And this is kind of what I imagine: imagination and free spirit. Being able to allow yourself to have that free association. I think that it is incredibly important. So I started this video by talking about how I am very excited about my adventures and I'm very excited about escaping. And there is a time for more serious matters, for thinking about serious things, but we also have to allow ourselves that enjoyment. So yeah, I'm Phoenix. I hope you enjoyed this little talk of mine. And yeah, here we are in the world and we are doing great. I'm Phoenix. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.